Hello everyone, Matsuyorific here. After 2 weeks of being sick, I am finally feeling better. Unfortunately, like I said, I was sick again all week, so I couldn't really focus too much on making a video. So we're just gonna do a quick little discussion video. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about something that I've actually been kind of wanting to talk about for a while now, and that is dealing with a rare allergy. As you can probably tell from the video title, I'm talking about an allergy that I have, and it's actually a rather uncommon allergy. Not a lot of people have it, and because of that, a lot of people don't understand it, or they misinterpret it, or they think that I'm lying about it. And the allergy that I have is to a chemical called musk. And musk is an active ingredient in most perfumes and colognes. And it's essentially just there to make the perfume or cologne smell stronger. So like a scent without musk in it wouldn't have a very strong smell. You would need to spray it a lot in order to get that really strong smell. But if it's got musk in it, then it's going to have a really strong smell, and it's going to reach a lot farther, which means that you can wear less of it, which is good for a lot of people because that shit's expensive. But for me, when I'm around somebody who's wearing a crap ton of that stuff, sorry about my mouth, but this is kind of a topic that really is personal to me. But when someone's wearing a lot of that stuff, it can make me sick. Start sneezing, won't be able to keep my eyes open very long, I can taste it in my mouth, I can't breathe very easily, and in prolonged cases it can even make me sick to my stomach. And this is something that I've been dealing with for a long time. And a lot of people usually either think that it's a joke, or they think that I'm just sensitive to smells, which really isn't the case. I love scented candles, and I've got this body spray that I got from Bath & Body Works that doesn't have any musk in it, because they don't use that chemical in their products, which is great for me, because I really do love this stuff. It's just that I don't love what it does to me. And like I said, I've been dealing with this for a long time. Back in high school, I had an issue where some bullies were spraying the inside of my backpack when I wasn't looking with their cologne, and it was so bad that I couldn't even get into my backpack the entire day without holding my breath, and I would have to suffer the entire day through school, not being able to really get into my backpack very easily. And then when I got home, I'd have to just stick it in the bathroom with the window open, which was not a very good thing to do in the middle of winter when it's freezing cold outside. But yeah, that was really hard to deal with back in high school. And it had to have been one of two guys, because there were really only two guys that didn't like me. But that's a topic for a different video. And I still have to deal with it in my day-to-day life. One of my old jobs that I used to work at, one of my coworkers came in wearing a whole bunch of cologne. And I asked him real nicely to just try and keep his distance from me, and I explained to him, I'm allergic to your cologne, I can't breathe when I'm around it, so if you could please just try to keep a little bit of distance away from me. And then he, the next time he walks past me, he goes, "Achoo," making fun of me. And yes, in case you're wondering, I did wind up reporting him, and he did get reprimanded for it, because that constitutes as harassment. And when you work in a place that's public, like your customer service, it can be really difficult because customers come through wearing perfume and cologne all the time, and there's really nothing you can do about it. And you're sitting there sneezing, and you're looking like you're really sick, and they're gonna be worried that you're contagious, and you have to tell them, no, it's just allergies. But you don't want to tell them that you're allergic to their skunk water, because then you're gonna offend them. It's like, oh, well, screw you too, is gonna be their thoughts. So you can't even tell them that. You just tell them, it's allergies, and then they think, oh, well, it's probably just because spring's around the corner, so flowers. Yeah, that's it. Or dust, because we're doing construction right now. So, yeah, that's a thing. And I've even had people who I'll tell them that I'm allergic to perfume, and then they'll be like, well, you've been around so-and-so before, and they were wearing stuff before. It's like, yeah, I can be around somebody who's not wearing a shit ton of the junk, because if they just do the usual, one spritz on each wrist, and it's not that evident that they're wearing something unless you're sticking your face up in their grill, then yeah, I'm not gonna have a problem with it because it's not reaching me. If I were to stick my face up in their if I were to stick my face in their wrists and get a big ol' whiff of that stuff, then yeah, I'd have a reaction. But if that's all that they've got and it doesn't reach that far, then I can be around them, just not super duper close to them. One of my ex-boyfriends liked wearing the stuff, and I never wanted to tell him that he couldn't wear it. But he really he did tone down how much he put on, especially if he knew that we were going to be hanging out. Like if we made plans, then he'd really tone it down, and he'd only make sure that it was on his sweater so that he could just take it off and put it in the trunk when we'd hang out. But I can't really remember where I was going with this. It can be difficult when you got that sort of thing, because people just, if they don't have experience with that sort of thing, then it can be really difficult for them to understand. And even if you try to explain it to them, they still think that you're just being sensitive, or that you just don't like that scent. I've actually had someone who just happened to be of color, and I was having issues with her perfume because she was wearing so much of it. You could smell her like a mile away, and every time she was around me, I'd sneeze, and she called me racist for sneezing around her, even because she'd seen me around other people who wore perfume. But the thing was that she wore so much of it that I couldn't help it, and the people she'd seen me around weren't wearing anywhere near as much as her. So she assumed that I was just racist because she was Indian. And that in itself hurts, because I mean, yes, I know that I'm not racist, and anybody who knows me would know that I'm not racist. Heck, she's seen me hanging around with and talking and laughing with people who are Hispanic and black and every color you can imagine, and she still seems to think that I'm racist because I can't be around her when she's wearing that much perfume. And it fortunately, even though she with the people that she told that I was racist, they didn't believe her. And that's how I found out that she was telling people that I was racist. It was from somebody else who told me that she was saying that I was racist because I was sneezing around her. And I'm not gonna say where this was at or who this girl was, because I'm not trying to call her out or anything. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what this is, and how much of a problem it can really be. And this isn't the only kind of allergy that can affect people in this way. There are a lot of allergies out there that are not very common and that people have never even heard of. So when they encounter somebody with that kind of an allergy, they just don't understand. And the same can be said about other things too, like mental disorders, because there are things that you can't actually see is wrong with them, but there is still something wrong with them. And things like that people who've never been around that sort of thing and have never had to experience that sort of thing can't really relate to. And I've seen people react the same way towards even more common allergies, like peanut butter, for example, or to diabetes. Because diabetics can't process sugar like most people. Someone I once knew made a comment about some random person ordering a Diet Coke with cherry syrup in it. And they asked, well, why get the Diet Coke if you're just going to put cherry syrup in it? Or it's like, because they can't have that much sugar. They probably need a certain amount of sugar, but they can't have too much sugar because otherwise it can make them sick. And they just didn't understand. There was another incident where someone was preparing food and they carelessly let something with peanut butter in it into the thing that they were preparing, and they were preparing it for other people. And I tried to warn them, you need to be more careful with that, because if one of the people that you're giving this to winds up being allergic to peanuts, then you could make them really sick. And they just did not care. And I actually know about peanut allergies because my mom is allergic to peanuts. She's so allergic that she can't even smell it on your breath without having a reaction. It's that bad. And this person just had never experienced that sort of thing, so they really didn't understand nor care that this was a thing and that it was that serious. And sure enough, I actually did hear about someone who ate food from that person, and they did get sick because there was traces of peanuts in something that was not supposed to have any kind of trace of peanuts at all, and she got really sick. So again, people hear this stuff and they see this stuff and they just don't care, and it really makes you wonder, how they would feel if they were in that situation, if they had something that they were really allergic to or just terrified of being around, or some traumatic experience that they didn't like talking about or remembering, and somebody was forcing that on them, not even caring. And I could pretty much guarantee you they wouldn't appreciate it if that happened to them. And it could be really hard to deal with when you have something that's rare like that, that's not really understood by a lot of people. And I'm kind of rambling, aren't I? This video is getting a little long, so to end this video, I just want to ask a real quick question. Do you guys have any allergies or foods or fears or anything like that you can't be around, that people misinterpret or just plain don't understand or don't even care, even though it's a big deal to you, just because it's not a big deal to them? If you have experiences about stuff like that, I would love to hear about it. Leave a comment down below. And if you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.